Hey guys, Luna here with a review, and today I'm really excited because we're going to be reviewing a personal favorite of mine. I'm pretty sure you've seen the title already, but if it's not clear yet, it's Unknown Pleasures by Joy Division. The year is 1979, at the core of the post-punk movement, a movement that actually Joy Division protagonized with two amazing albums, out of which I believe that this is the best one. Even though Closer brings a much different kind of approach to the same kind of music, I believe that Unknown Pleasures is Joy Division's at a creative and performance peak. Now, this was not the first project that the band had released. Actually, they released a previous EP a year prior to this album called An Idea for Living. That album was not really special or groundbreaking or anything like Unknown Pleasures, basically because it was more of a punk album. There's only one song here that is similar to what they will do in a future, actually. It was like the earliest moments of the band, nothing that even if you're a hardcore fan would like to go back to, because it's really just a mess of an album, and I don't even count it as Joy Division's album. Even though that first EP wasn't all that great, it caught the attention of a music producer who would go on to form a music label, which the band will participate in, called Factory, one of the best independent music labels at the time. This was obviously a really important and influential moment for the band, because with this label they would go on to record their first album, their debut, which is actually the album that we're talking about today. The funny thing about Unknown Pleasures is that in this album there are moments, especially in the first track Disorder, where you actually feel like you want to dance. Like the instrumental may seem like a dance pop beat, but actually as soon as Ian starts singing and starts putting out those lyrics that are so depressive and so thought-provoking, you actually feel like you shouldn't be dancing even if you want to. Now, the best thing about Joy Division's songwriting is actually that every single instrument there is on the mix adds something to the song. So it's not like it's a fast song, so the drums go fast, the guitar goes fast, and even the bass line goes fast, and the singer goes crazy as well. That's not what you're gonna find in a Joy Division song. Actually, you're gonna find that usually the bass line it's bass driven. The song is usually bass driven, and the bass line is really relaxing, really moody. But the guitar offers a contrast because the guitar is really aggressive, really fast, and if not fast, beautiful. There are many riffs who are really pretty, especially as I said in the first track, Disorder. The guitar riff on this song is actually really pretty. Then the drumming, which is one of the most important parts of Joy Division's music, the drumming. It's amazing, it's totally on point. I love the drumming in this album, and in their second album even more. It's a combination of feelings, because the guitar tells you you should be mad, that there's something like a revolution going on. And then the bass line tells you to relax, to chill, to just listen to the music. And then the drums are telling you to dance. That's basically what you feel while listening to Joy Division. When Ian's vocals hop in, the song just transforms into something else. It's no longer a song where you feel aggressive, where you feel like you want to dance. You don't feel angry. You don't feel relaxed either. You just feel sad. You just feel numb. You feel like you are in another dimension, literally, because the music elevates you to a point. The whole mix elevates you to a point where you feel like what you're listening is not music. You actually get a picture of what you're listening, and that is amazing. It's wonderful. Ian can be really depressive in his lyrics and in his performance especially. For example, on the first track, Disorders, he's talking about a guy who wants to take him by the hand and lead him down the right path. He's talking about themes of trauma, disorder, but he can also grab that same voice that it sounds so depressed and so hollow and turn it into a really hard-hitting rock voice, for example, in songs like Shadowplay, Inner Zone, Candidate, She's Lost Control. I mean, Ian definitely was feeling the things that he's singing about in this album. Not only because I say it, or not only because I feel like it's because in his personal life, you can tell by his unfortunate suicide only a year after this album dropped. Every single song on this album, it's amazing on its own, but they work almost to perfection when you put it all together. To the point where when the album stops, when it snaps out and you're like, whoa, the album has ended, you basically feel like you've waken up from a dream, because the album is such an immersive experience. You just want to do it again. This album has a lot of replay value because there are so many layers that you can peel off. It's like an onion. It's something like that you can just peel off every time you listen to it. You can find new things and new sounds hidden. And it's, even if you don't, the lyrics are already worth it to come back to and listen to them again. This album can also work like therapy from someone that was actually depressed at the moment of recording this album. This album will go on to be legendary and remembered throughout the years, not only because of the sad story behind it, you know, the unfortunate suicide from vocalist Ian Curtis, but mainly because of the sonic and lyric value that this album has. It's amazing. Even if you take away the lyrics, you have an amazing set of instrumentals behind it, and if you take out all of the instrumentals, you have an amazing set of poems written by a tortured soul, and you can definitely listen to it over and over again. It doesn't matter how many times I listen to this album, I can listen to it 10 times more. That's just the feeling I get every single time that I listen to this record. Basically, although I think that the band will go on to be a little bit more ambitious and adventurous in his second album, which is actually my favorite album from the band, I think that listening to the band in this early kind of rudimentary moment of their career, it's almost more gratifying. And I believe that if you were to listen to Joy Division album for the first time, this is definitely the album to go for, because it's at least the most melodic album of them all. And listening to that battle, to that struggle of someone who doesn't know what to do, if just embrace death and welcome it, or trying to struggle out of it, it's just wonderful. It's just magic. It's pure magic, and I don't think I can explain to you unless you actually listen to the album. It's amazing, it's thought-provoking, it's heartbreaking. This album brings so many experiences to me that it's almost hard to describe. As I said before, that's why I was so excited to actually review this album, because there's so many things that you can say about this album, from the poetry of Ian Curtis, from the amazingly sonic innovations that were made on this album, and the influence that the album would have had in a future. I just like to sit and think about what really could have been of the band if Ian was still alive today. It's something that I think it's something that will never be answered, but at the same time it's worth coming back to and thinking about it, you know, because really I think that no other album has showed me in a sonic way the feeling of depression. This is, if I have to transcribe this album to a single word, it will be depression, it will be sadness, it will be numbness, it will be being helpless. It's amazing. It's just wonderful. Listen to the album. I'm pretty sure you'll have no regrets after you do. And in terms of rating, there's no other score that I can give to this album but an actual massive, the size of a planet, 10. That is it for today's video, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed this review. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. If you have any recommendations on an album that I should cover next, then definitely leave it down below in the comments. I'll make sure to check it out and respond to your comment as soon as possible. So yeah, I think that's it for today. Goodbye.